So is this a final event?
1, 2, 1, 2.
How's my hair?
Scariest thing I've ever done.
Bungee jump.
Surfing with sharks.
Cliff jumping.
Probably jump out of an aeroplane.
Flying in an FA-18 Hornet with the Blue Angels.
Yeah, I'd have to say sailing through the Southern Ocean.
Being on board a boat while Pete Belly is steering in the Southern Ocean.
Scariest thing I've ever done? Probably racing in JBay.
Here we go. Lock her in. I'll drive from here. Racing. Stand by. Turning. Go wing. Don't fly too high. Dig it, boys. Woo. You're right. Slow down. Let's go.
You ready?
Over that.
Like this?
Come on. Here, boys.
I have to be more serious, you mean?
Go.
Oh, you want some excitement?
It's all about the show, lads.
Down the barrel, you reckon?
What a great show it is.
Sail GP.
Season 2.
Showtime. Nailed it.
Day number 1 of the Australia Sail Grand Prix in Sydney, and everyone now looking for that sweet spot.
The start line of a Sail GP race is a very fast-moving, dynamic environment.
Aussie's hooked. Killing 9.
The drivers have to be hyper-focused. If you are not 100%, you're going to have a major.
Killing 8.
The start in race 3, we were coming back into the line, but we'd been pushed by Jimmy and the American team. Japan were quite a long way to leeward. My attention was on Jimmy, and I just hadn't seen that Japan had turned up so hard.
And turning up now.
By the time someone mentioned, have you seen them, it was too late.
Watch these guys.
No, the British crew have crashed. They had no rights there. Disaster for the Japanese.
Oh, my God.
It was really late in the afternoon, and there was quite a lot of glare on the water. And their boat is a white boat, and I'm kind of looking at the software on the wing, and the white boat sort of came in view just behind the race software, and I was like, Japan.
Watch these guys.
We just missed them until the last moment.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What the... Gosh, you've been kidding me.
You asked me at the beginning what was the scariest moment of life. I guess in reflection, Ben taking us out is one of the scariest moments I've had on the water. There was absolutely nothing we could do in that scenario. And we're leeward boat, we're defending the line, and never were expecting someone to basically just bear away on the foil and just charge at us at full speed.
I was literally head down, just setting my wing up ready for the speed build, and then the next thing we knew, there was a boat on top of us. It happened so fast, and we were sat there ready to rip and have a great race, and then suddenly we were sat there and we were sinking.
The Japanese boat was severely damaged to the point probably weren't going to be able to race the next day, and in that instance, we almost certainly weren't going to be able to race, and almost certainly the season was over for us.
Approval to sail withdrawn by organising authority, the guilty boat.
End of season. It's definitely up there with low points in my career, at least. I'm not particularly good, I have to admit, in those moments. I'm not an oh well, never mind, next time kind of guy. So, yeah, it hurts.
Hey, mate. Hey, mate. I don't know what to say. I'm so sorry. You didn't see us, did you? No. Yeah. No. Just didn't see it. That's all right. Yeah, right.
Well, no one got hurt.
Yeah, that's what makes everything right.
Yeah, everyone's okay. Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Shocker. So I sent an email saying whatever of our kit you need, just take it. So.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All you can do after that, you just admit you were wrong, and I think Ben did the really classy thing by offering the boat for them to sail the next day.
I think he felt terrible about the situation.
Here we go. Token effort.
I know he wants to win and will do what he can to win, but when we're on land, we're all just nice guys who have a lot of respect for each other.
Tell us what you need. Well, yeah, I think we need a hull.
Ben's response was exactly what I would expect from Ben. I mean, he's a fierce competitor, but he races fair. To me, it's typical Ben Ainsley.
Well, you're going to use our boat.
Is that really the case?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think we were all pretty shocked that we were going to be able to sail the Brit boat, yeah. you know, that incident meant that they were effectively giving up their opportunity to win the circuit for a whole year of work. So, you know, it's an incredible gesture, and I'd like to think that we went out and did it justice the next day.
Nathan is an extremely confident sailor. Whatever boat you put him in, he's going to back himself to the hilt. But on this day, he was in a borrowed boat, in the British boat. He couldn't drive it like he stole it.
I think if you asked Verstappen and Perez to swap their Red Bull F1 cars, I'm not sure they'd be brave enough to go into that first corner at full speed. So for Nathan and his crew to do that was pretty impressive.
Race number 4, 7 boats on the water, is all on this last upwind leg. And it looks like that new boat is going well for Japan. How are they looking on the ley line for this final turning, Mark? Here we go, tight manoeuvre. Burling, he has the rights to turn on the inside. It's going to be close. Outridge coming in a lot faster. Tries to slide round the outside. New Zealand must keep clear. New Zealand, oh, there's going to be a protest on that one.
Penalty New Zealand relative Japan. Penalty New Zealand relative Japan.
And they are going to drag race it to the line. The Kiwis have the lead, but waiting for the penalty, and it comes on the Kiwis, which will handle race 4 to the Japanese. So race number 5, it's going to be a little dicey. Japan, Spain, New Zealand, the USA, they're all trying to earn enough points to go into the final race of the day. And it's Jimmy Spithill tries to dive inside the Spanish boat here. As they, oh, it's going to be a penalty on Phil Robertson. Surely has to keep clear.
Penalty Spain relative.
And the penalty on Spain for not giving way. And meanwhile, Japan is running away with this race. So it'll be Japan, Australia, and New Zealand going 1, 2, and 3.
Japan couldn't have done any more. Sailing on another team's boat, they record 2 wins, but just not quite enough to make the final.
But for the fans of the green and gold, all eyes are on one F50.
So we have reached that point. It is 1 race to go. The top 3 boats will be Australia, USA, and Spain in 1 race for the title. It's going to be tight between Australia and the USA. Wow, how did the USA get through there? The pole position perfectly lined up for Tom Slingsby on board. Australia is going to be tight. Watch them turn down. Their guns clear. Jimmy Spithill on board the USA. Perfection. But it's going to be Tom Slingsby at a faster angle that I think can get round him before Mark 1. It's winner take all. Slingsby going head-to-head with Spithill. Wow, just in time for Tom Slingsby on board the Australian boat there. He was over 90 kilometres an hour, right on the edge.
We know that we're very hard to beat if we get off the line. We know that if we're first to Mark 1, no one's going to catch us.
Tom Slingsby in great control. Another mistake by the Spanish crew. They're off the foils.
Everybody's on the look. Yeah. Keep trying. Keep trying.
If you're not pushing 100% in these boats and all the racing, you're going to be rusty. We got to that final and we were bloody rubbish.
The Spanish have fallen off. The Americans are trying to track down Slingsby, but gate number 6, it is still the Australians trying to push the pace.
As things stand with Australia and the USA, they would book their places already in the grand final in San Francisco.
The Aussies won at Plymouth. They won in Denmark. They won in Cadiz. And here comes Tom Slingsby and the Flying Roos. They will win in Sydney.
Leading going into San Fran's nice, but none of it matters unless we perform in that last race, last 15-minute race in San Francisco.
The Australians win their home event. They're 2nd in a row. They're 4th for the season, and they are looking really hard to beat.
The SailGP's Female Pathway program is getting these athletes on board.
This is a set of eyes they've never had before.
The Women's Pathway program has rapidly progressed in its 1st season, and the contribution of female athletes to the team's overall racing performance has been a real game changer.
Nina Curtis, take a bow. She was calling the overlap with the American boat coming in there, and that is why the Australians are leading this race.
With every event that we're on board, we're, being more integrated into the team and taking a lot more responsibilities.
15 to boundaries. Stay it up there, more down.
These guys have been sailing together for so long, and so, finding space in my position has been a little bit of a challenge. But I feel like my position on this boat is making sure that there's nothing falling through the cracks and just being that person that can catch anything.
Just tap me on the shoulder.
Make sure he's got it. And I think also you can say whether we're bow forwards or bow back on the cross.
I won't shut up until you say copy.
What she's brought to us on the water is a sense of calmness. When she speaks to us, she's painting the picture so clearly.
GBR stuck, GBR down.
She's telling me where the other competition are, what they're doing. Nina's done an amazing job.
I have 2 walls depending to the forecast conditions, so I sail like a 6 sailor at the back just behind the helm. It's more about tactics, and when the condition is light, my wall is more physical. And yeah, I have to grind like maybe all the time and really focus on it.
CJ Perez, the youngest in the fleet at just 18 years of age, out of Hawaii, happy to be on board with USA Sail GP.
We want to be sailing in the major roles on the F50s, and we want other females to see that as well and to hopefully be inspired to do the same thing and really change the face of the sport.
If you know your history, this place is really special.
Some people called it the greatest sporting comeback of all time, when Oracle Team USA overturned an 8-1 deficit to win the 34th America's Cup.
Nearly 10 years on, and we've got 3 key members of that team in Spithill, Slingsby and Ainsley back here on the racecourse.
Yeah, there is definitely something special about San Francisco. I mean, clearly had one of those experiences of a lifetime. It's just one of those iconic venues.
The rules are clear. After 5 races here in San Francisco, the top 3 teams in the championship will go into the grand final and race for the $1 million prize.
Australia, USA and Japan, points-wise, are pretty much nailed on, but there's always jeopardy out there on that race course.
If one of those teams has a big incident, it could leave the door open for a surprise team to make the grand final.
Welcome to San Francisco, California. It's grand final weekend. As we now get set, this is race number 2.
Nathan Outridge on the Japanese boat here in the middle of the line. Out the back it's Spain.
Jordi Chamar taking over for Phil Robertson. He has left the team. Next year, he'll be a part of Canada Sail GP.
Australia and Japan on the button, and it's now a drag race between these 2 massive teams.
And it looks to be like the Aussies might have the best position.
Japan, wow, that's absolute power of strength. Well, look at this, they lost control of the boat.
Give me the rudder.
And Slingsby's gone, off down the racetrack.
I think as Ayrton Senna once said, if you see a gap and you don't take it, you're no longer a racing driver.
He's got to be careful here, he's on the inside.
We had committed and Jordi decided to try to close that gap. Yeah, I let my temper fly. I wasn't happy about how close that was to ruining our season.
Penalty Australia, relative Spain, not entitled to mark.
Too aggressive from Slingsby.
He will finish behind Spain. Denmark Sail GP into first place. Japan, they'll hold on for second in San Francisco.
If you want to win the last race, it's about building momentum. You'll talk to Tom, and he was in the same mindset as us. You know, we are here to win the San Francisco event, and then we're here to win the $1 million.
So the third and final race of the day. Jimmy Spithill was 7th in race number 2. Does he still protect the asset in race number 3?
Our philosophy was if any of the top 3 were damaged and were unable to sail, they weren't going to be able to use someone else's boat, like Nathan did in Sydney. That really put an emphasis on, guys, we have to protect the asset until we get to the final race.
At mark number 1, it is Japan with the lead, Australia in second.
The Americans, another mistake. They're off the foils, feeling the pressure here.
I just feel like, you know, what Jimmy did was the wrong call. You can't just flick a switch and go from, oh, I'm looking after my boat to now I'm going to win.
Look after the asset after the finish.
Race number 3 will go the way of the Japanese, and look at that speed as they cross the line.
Very well sailed, everyone.
In San Francisco, there's more than 1 title being fought over. Alongside the Racing Championship, a parallel leaderboard has been running for the Impact League, a competition for the teams and their purpose partners that rewards positive action and real efforts towards meaningful change.
We lost 3 points on our strategy because we didn't all do the how now.
A great initiative.
The Impact League is based on behavioural science. We know that athletes especially love competition, and so it accelerates change. We have 10 criteria based on our sustainability strategy. Things like innovation, travel, food, using their voice, collaboration. They're really like critical parts of everyday life and sustainability.
I've spent so much of my childhood on the ocean, you know, whether it's through the sport of sailing, out surfing, fishing, diving, just seeing how things degrade so quickly. You know, we really want to do everything we can to look after it for future generations.
Live Ocean's a marine conservation charity that Peter and I founded. So that's really where the work started, understanding how we could use our profile to help the issues the ocean's facing.
The partnership we've had with the New Zealand Sail GP team has been so powerful. It's provided us with a real platform to take forward the message of ocean restoration and protection.
From the inception of the Impact League, we really wanted to try and win, and that's really been about looking at every single detail. First one's really trying to reduce our use of cable ties, so we've replaced them all with reusable Velcro.
Lots of little things like the chase boat driver really being aware of how much fuel they're using on the water. Boats obviously are going in salt water every day, so when they come back out, you have to be washed down. We've done some nifty little things to try and reduce the water, and that's been now implemented fleet-wide.
We want everyone to understand athletes need to do more. They can be great at sport, but they need to be ambassadors for the planet, for making our sport better, for social sustainability. And athletes in sport really can inspire change.
Sail GP's Inspire Racing programme has been shadowing the F50 action at all the events. It's a real chance to see the best young foiling talent.
It's great to make them part of the event and to let them experience that for themselves. And that way they really get to see these top professional teams in action. It creates, I think, the stimulus for them to then say, OK, that's really what I want to do.
It's been really special this week, meeting Jimmy Spittle and Team USA, and also seeing CJ where she is now. It just makes it seem a lot closer, and really, really special to be here with everyone.
There's no doubt in my mind that we will see an athlete out of the Inspire program racing these boats. For the first time, we've actually got a legitimate pathway for these younger guys and girls to come through and aspire to being on these Sail GP rosters.
I love speed, love foiling. I think that would just be the absolute ultimate.
The final day in San Francisco. After a season that stretched over almost 12 months and taken us right across the globe, it all ends here.
Day number 2 of the final event, and all boats flying in the shadows of the Golden Gate Bridge.
This is the first time we've seen the Americans and Jimmy Spittle leading the fleet, and what a time to do it.
The speed, the level, the amount of boats, it's auto racing. I mean, this is F1.
Oh, and Spain diving inside. Oh, there's a collision on board the American boat and the Spanish boat. Oh, my Lord.
We thought we were overlapped, and then they closed the gap, and I responded, and we just flew up and landed on top of the American boat. It was quite a tough moment. It was like, I made a big mess.
I didn't see him. That was scary. He was about that far from your shoulder, Jimmy.
I thought, wow, there's a real chance we're out of this final.
So it will be the Kiwis that get the win in race 4, despite all the drama with the Americans and the Spanish.
We couldn't write the script. Jimmy Spittle's USA team seemed to have had bad luck by the bucket load all season, and now here we are, final day of racing, and their place in the grand final is really in danger.
Just sit this one out. Get the boat ready for the final. I'm going to take the one bolt out.
It was clear we were missing a large part of the boat. We need to be in the position to go out and race this final race and have a shot at winning.
All done. Let's go! Jimmy Spithill and his crew have had more comebacks this season than Rocky Balboa. There is no way they are not racing in this grand final.
There's $1 million on the line and the biggest title in the sport right now.
You know, you get given this one opportunity in 12 minutes to punch above your weight.
Clearly there's a lot of pressure. You know, you got your hometown event, live TV for $1 million.
If I'm honest, I'm a little scared that Jimmy might actually pull this off.
So season 2 comes down to this: one race, $1 million.
Here we go, great positioning by Spittle. Tom Slingsby will be where he wants to be.
That's the umpire's boundary penalty, Japan.
Oh, they're going to have to follow the other two in. Unforced error, that's unbelievable by the Japanese crew. It's tight at the top of the line. They're going to try and block it up at the top of the line. Penalty on Australia as well.
Japan behind USA, delayed starter Australia.
I remember thinking to myself, I can't believe you stuffed this start up. It's the $1 million race. You had Nathan, you had Jimmy. What have you done?
Spittle's got the break here. The leader at Mark 1 will be the USA. Americans need to stay tight at the next gate. Big ease on the roundup. Outridge is working wider. Tom Slingsby, he slings the boat around the mark. Look at the speed difference here.
It is Australia, the defending champions, have moved into first. And
I've just got breaking news. The race has been abandoned because there's a whale on course.
In line with SailGP protocol, we have stopped racing to allow the whale to pass through safely.
It's another chance to roll the dice.
And if you're Tom, Nathan or Jimmy, you've got to ask yourself one question.
Do I feel lucky?
The restart of the grand final here in San Francisco, California, the last race of season 2 of SailGP.
The Australians have the speed. There's the start there. Spittle's done a fantastic job again, but it's Australia and Tom Slingsby. They're boosting away towards Mark 1. Both boats behind off the foils.
These are the defending champions, Australia. They get an early break here in the grand final. They make the turn. They are on to leg number 3.
And right now, the Australians are coming up to a 500-metre lead.
That's a right turn, ladies and gentlemen. They're up the foils.
Down.
This could be opportunity knocks for the boats behind. Foiling in come the American crew. The race is all on. Oh, but they're not laying. They're not laying.
And here comes Japan.
Up to second of the Japanese crew.
And the Americans are stuck at the Windward Gate in no wind.
That could well be the crucial moment.
For Australia, SailGP, the repeat is now complete, and it is Australia that claims the title in 2022.
Look, I did say I would prefer to be lucky than good on a day like today, and it felt like we got a bit of both. So, yeah, it's just such a good feeling to do it like that.
The grand final placings confirm the overall season championship. Ben Ainsley's GBR team just off the podium in 4th. Jimmy Spittle's USA 3rd. Nathan Outridge's Japan in 2nd. And Australia's SailGP team, led by Tom Slingsby, back-to-back champions.
All season, Tom and the Australian team has been the benchmark team.
All we can do is really just pay respect and, you know, what an incredible job.
I feel like SailGP is the top competition in the world, and for Australia to be on the top step of the podium, yeah, I'm just so proud of us, our team.
Racing.
SailGP is phenomenal. It has rewritten how we view the sport.
So season 3 just round the corner. Where else would you rather be?
Next time on The Spirit of Yachting, a true offshore classic, the Rolex Giralia.
Here we go, Battle West Virginia. Matt Koger bringing a thick fist in that backstop. And boy, he just smoked that. Matt Koger is off on a mission. This is not just a chop, this is a statement by Koger. Look at it turn into the backside. Matt Koger is just tearing this off. This is a whole nother man we are seeing right now. Let's see if he's straightened out that single buck.
And if he just reaches to the handle, now he's figured that child. Josh Wilson only a few hits behind. Matt Koger is looking for the fastest time of the weekend. One more stroke. Look at this man. Let's cheer him on. Matt Koger. If you could see the look in his face, this is pure anger. This is absolutely a man on a mission, blowing half the log off. Matt Koger pull up. He's going to put one more up and he's going to have at it. Matt Koger, the fastest time of the weekend. What a cut. What a cut by Matt Koger. Potentially a world record.
I have never been a quitter.
August 8th, 1974. In Washington, President Richard Nixon says he will resign amid damaging new revelations in the Watergate scandal.
I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow. Vice President Ford will be sworn in as president at that hour in this office.
1963. Britain's great train robbery as thieves hold up the Glasgow to London mail train in an audacious heist. They steal £2.6 million in banknotes, a sum that's equivalent to tens of millions of dollars today. 1942. In Washington, 6 convicted Nazi saboteurs are executed after landing in the United States during World War II. 2 more saboteurs convicted in the case receive prison sentences. 1879. Emiliano Zapata, one of the major figures during the Mexican Revolution in the early 20th century, is born. And 1937.
Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me. Aren't you?
Oscar-winning actor Dustin Hoffman is born in Los Angeles. Among his roles, The Graduate, Midnight Cowboy, Kramer vs. Kramer, Tootsie, and Rain Man. Today in history, August 8th. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
Welcome back in our studio, and in today's news,